The efforts of Elena, Vergara, and Paco culminate in a final battle in which the balance between good and evil is at stake at Pedraza. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing 30 Coins, Episode 8, Sacrifice. So we open up with Vergara walking out of the burning church with guns blazing, like guns in hands. He's like, yeah! And, dude, it was a beautiful opening shot. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good screenshot of it. But yeah, that was a fantastic opening sequence. And Vergara starts screaming out Angel's name and telling him to come out and face him in that. And we do see Angel disappear and reappear throughout the fog, taunting and laughing at Vergara. So, I mean, and then, like, stuff gets real crazy from there. The ground shakes, everything. It's really awesome. And, yeah, that whole opening sequence was fantastic. And we end up going back to the church, and we do see Angel giving the townspeople mass, and he's telling them that the supreme priest will be arriving in a few days. But we also see him give, like, black wafers out. And there apparently is some tourists there that they take into the church as well, against their will, and they feed them these black wafers. So there's something, like, different about this mass that they're doing, because it looks like everybody's controlled by Angel at this point. So after the opening sequence, Vergara, Paco, and Elena go hide. And Vergara asks Paco and Elena to try to get the cellar maps so that they can plan their next move, because they're underground and these cellars run throughout the town, apparently. So we do see them try to do that. And then we also see Antonio. He ends up going to the police station and starts telling the police officers there that he's had dreams and stuff about everybody getting killed. And this is when he sees Laguna hanging in his cell, and he decides to trick the two officers into leaving the police station so he can free Laguna. And after he does that, they get away and hide for a little bit. So I thought that was really good, because we really get to see Antonio as, like, he's like almost like the devil's advocate in this. He's good, but he's not good at the same time. He goes back and forth. He does the things like that Angel wanted him to do by pouring the black liquid around the whole entire town. But then he goes and tries to help people at the same time. So it's it's really kind of weird with him, because he has these dreams. He hears voices, but sometimes he helps them out, and sometimes he helps other people out instead. So his dynamic is really interesting, and it's really good. I honestly like his character. In the beginning, I kind of didn't, but then, I mean, he really grows on you after a while, because he literally tries to give people advice, but because he's the town idiot, nobody wants to listen to him. And it's kind of unfortunate, because if they did listen to him, they'd probably be more better off, be a lot better off than where they are now at this point. So we end up seeing Elena and Paco get back from getting the maps of the cellars. And Elena and Vergara start looking over the cellar maps so they can start planning their next move. And they realize Paco is gone. So Paco is crazy. He goes and talks to Mercy and finds out that she's not actually being controlled by Angel. And we really get to see how crazy she is, because she feeds him and then turns around, gives him some food, but also freaks out when she hears Elena's name. And it's just like, dude, what are you doing, Paco? This is crazy. She's crazy. And it's so awesome. And after that, Paco leaves, and Mercy ends up taking off with some of the leftover food. So, you're like, wait, what? Dude, it's crazy. And Paco does eventually catch up with Elena and Vergara in the cellars, and they're going through because they're trying to go to the castle. But they also do a ritual before that to kind of scout out the town. So we do get to see that, which I thought was actually kind of cool. And in the cellar part, they do get ambushed by Mercy, who does something to Elena and disappears with Elena. And I was like, Paco, you're crazy. This is exactly what happens when you go see a crazy person. Oh, it was so great. And we end up seeing that Fabio arrives in town at the castle. And we get to see, like, more of what's going on in the castle than from when Vergara and did the ritual to be able to kind of scout it out with using a bird. So I thought that was great. Like, the whole inside is covered in bloody symbols and animal parts. I was like, whoa, what kind of, like, thing is going on here? It's, like, super crazy. Yeah, it was... I mean, the whole place was littered with everything. It was fantastic. We also get to see the old lady, the witch. I think some people have been calling her the necromancer in this as well, and some real creepy stuff happens with her. So, like, this whole episode was fantastic. This ends on a huge cliffhanger, too. That sets up another season, which I thought was fantastic. The effects in this, all practical effects, really, but it was fantastic. They all looked fantastic, especially the old witch. Something happens with her, and I was just like, whoa, that's... I'm like, what is going on here? It's super creepy. And it was great, dude. Her character was great in this. I loved it. The acting, again, was great. Mercy, honestly, gets the acting award for this episode as well. I don't want to say award, but yeah, she did a fantastic job in this. Her facial expressions alone, again in this, just show how, like, devastated and hurt she is over Paco choosing Elena and not her. Like, she's really obsessed with Paco at this point. And it's not really, I don't know if it's love or not, but it's like obsession mixed with love, because she still does love Paco. At least that's what I think, but she's like super obsessed with getting him back and getting Elena out of the way. And the stuff she does in this episode, absolutely fantastic, especially at the end. I was just blown away by this whole thing. Now, there are some parts that are kind of confusing in this a little bit, but it's really not like that bad. The confusion's more of along the lines of this episode leaves you with more questions than answers, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. You know, it's gonna set up a second season really well. This was a great finale. It had a balance of the suspense, tension, and horror that left you kind of wanting more. Like, that you know, especially for me, I kind of wanted more of this episode, even though each episode's been like an hour long. And I mean like 52 minutes to an hour long. But this was just, like, awesome. This sets up a second season, and we might see some returning characters, and we will probably end up getting new bad guys. Like, this really hints at, like, the creation of new bad guys for the second season, especially what happens at the end. This is really good. Like, again, this leaves a lot of questions unanswered, especially, like, what happened to the baby from the first two episodes. You know, like the first 2 or 3 episodes, what happened to the baby? You know, it disappeared in the sewers and we never saw it again. So it's like, wait, what? Is that thing still around? Did it finally, it's, and the old witch, like, what was her deal? You know, we get a little bit of that in this episode, but at the same time, we don't. She's just there to do things and get things, done for the church. And it's like, wait, what? Yeah, so there's a lot of good questions here that hopefully we'll get a few answers for in season 2. But I would honestly give this at least a 9 out of 10. Yeah, this was a fantastic episode. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe, as I'll be doing more content each week. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. I'd love to hear from you guys. Take care for now, everybody.